So I have been drawing for about 8 years now, and during that time I collected quite a few sketchbooks, who I ended up putting up to my wall for storage, but they now loom over me, judging my every move, so let's judge them back. Hi guys, it's Vidi. I hope you have a great day. Grab some snacks and maybe something to drink. I don't know. Are you hydrated? You should be hydrated. But this is going to be quite a long one, since we are going through all of my old sketchbooks. Not all of them in one video probably, but it's a lot. Yes, they are very small and thin, but they stack up very fast. Especially if you want to kind of talk about the details. I did my fingernails just for this occasion, also as a treat because I accomplished some things that I wanted. But yeah, I made them myself. You know, when you reward yourself for doing good work with more work. Is it a bit counterintuitive? Maybe, but they turned out very cute and sparkly, so I'm happy with them. But now let me get actually the sketchbooks. Now get ready, because we don't only have 1, 2, 3, no 4, no 5, nay 6 or 7 or 8. No, we have 9 sketchbooks to go through. However, the 9th one is the one that I'm currently working on. So there's just gonna be a sneak peek. Don't worry, you will see the whole thing once I'm actually done with it, which might take a while because, oh boy, it's a thick one. And I think 8 sketchbooks are already quite a lot to go through. That's also why we are only going through half of them in this video, because otherwise this would take very long and I have to cut it somewhere, so. Now, fair warning, these sketchbooks are near and dear to my heart and more like picture diaries, and therefore some of the illustrations are more on the darker side because I went through it since I was a teenager through most of those. But yeah, there will be some darker themes, so here are your more direct content warnings. Don't worry, there will nothing be super explicit or schmectual, besides the occasional boob. But if that sounds like something you are not up to, that's totally okay. Have a nice day, and maybe I will see you in a different video. Also, every time I used someone as a reference or drew someone directly, I will blend in their name and Instagram account, except for one certain individual who deleted all of their stuff and accounts on all platforms, so out of respect I will not name them, since it looks like they don't want to be on the internet anymore, which is valid and I want to respect that decision. Now, with all of this out of the way, shall we get started? But yeah, most of those, I mean, it's called a sketchbook, but let's be honest, they are more nearing to the finished illustration side of things, at least for a little past me back then. Also, those were a lot of stickers that I didn't want to put anywhere else, so I put them all in her hair. And honestly, I'm kind of happy because I wouldn't have used them any other way. And that's Marcia! I think she actually liked that illustration when I posted it on Instagram. And I remember being really giddy about it for the next few days, because of course it's nice when someone that you admire acknowledges your work. And the other thing was just me trying out ink a bit more. Oh my god, okay. So I don't remember what I wrote there, gotta be honest with you, but can you see that I was very bored in class? That is all with fine liner, and it took many hours that I was very happy to spend, since it gave me something to do mindlessly during actually listening. Okay, so it's not finished, but I was thinking about gluing down strings and threads so you can actually feel an illustration, and it feels really nice, but it also takes a long time, so I just gave up on that. Oh my god, I remember being so unhappy after I colored the illustration on the left, and I still don't like it. I should have kept it black and white, but I didn't. Happens. Ooh, those pictures in the back are old photos that I did during a class field trip with my old camera, and they are pretty blank, so I used them as a background, and I think I should do that again, scrapbooking in general, because look at the thing on the right. It looks so cool. Even if you can't read it, the contrast is so nice between color, writing, color again. For the left illustration, I think I saw a poster for the old Frankenstein's wife. You know, the old film. And I really liked that lighting on that poster, so I decided to go with it. Like, I am still happy with... I think I should do like more mixed media now, because I stopped doing that and Past Me was really onto something there. But we will see. Oh, the spread. I'm honestly very impressed that the sketchbook somehow survived the painting on the left, because that is acrylic, thickly layered on. Beyond me how that survived. The one on the left, I was trying to make a photorealistic horse for some reason. The reason being, a classmate, I think, recommended to me, hey, you should draw more animals. And I agreed, because they are right. I didn't draw enough animals back then. Still don't really draw enough animals. But apparently the horse wasn't it, because I abandoned it halfway through. Just like the next shred. I like the concept still, but I don't think I will revisit it. At least not traditionally. I think that's like one of those images where going digital would benefit it, maybe? I don't know. We will see. The spread. Not a big fan of them together. Separately, I like them both. The illustration on the right was, I think, just ballpoint pen, like the really cheap ones, and some highlighter. And I really like the concept. I should redraw that, honestly. And the other one was, I was on a medieval fair, and there was a dude and his friend in full-on cosplay, but one of them was in a wheelchair and was like, yeah, that is cool. Especially because they like modified the wheelchair so it looked medieval too, which looked absolutely badass. Oh, that one. Okay, so I was trying to do Colourpop. I clearly failed, but at least it was a picture of my mom. Look at her being cute. I think that was her in her early 20s. My mom is going to pop up quite a bit because I have a very cool mom, so I drew my very cool mom. By the way, I know for a fact that she will watch this video, so hello Mopsy! I love you a lot. Coincidentally, she wants to get that bird tattooed also one day. For now, it's here for safekeeping till that day. But yeah, the illustration on the right are of two people that I really actively watched back then. Not anymore that much, just like kind of normal. You are into different things, obviously, as time passes, especially while you are growing up, and 6 years is a lot of time to develop different interests and all that. Oh, but if you are into cutesy clothes, Mademoiselle Opossum has a small boutique in Berlin. So if you are into something like that, check out her stuff. But oh my god, I remember that was my cutesy tiny blue pen who couldn't do nothing wrong, just exploding in my hand. I don't know why, just the cap in the front where the ink cartridge connects just broke off and it got everywhere. It looks pretty cool, like looking back at it, but that was definitely just more luck than actual knowledge. But we're just going to pretend that was fully intentional and move on. Oh, okay, so usually there's some baking paper in between those sheets because... So you see how it's slightly glittery there in the Starry Night? That is glue, a layer of glitter, and another thick layer of glue. Now that has been drying for 6 years, you would think. It's not going to stick anymore. No, it gets reactivated every time it gets warm. And I mean, thinking back, I kinda should have guessed that, but I didn't. And now there's baking paper in my sketchbook. So it can't just seal it off by itself. Ooh, another case of me abusing old textbooks from school. I don't remember which book it is, I just know that it was one of those cheap flimsy ones that you were forced to read in class. So, this is my revenge, I guess, by letting it live on forever now in my sketchbook. Don't question it. But yeah, that was the first sketchbook I ever did. I'm really glad that I did it back then. I could have also just continued drawing on single papers, but having that all collected in like one place is really nice, like looking back at it. especially because I didn't start with like thinking, oh, I'm going to draw in there every now and then, but I thought, this is very small, I can take that with me to school. That was my only reasoning. Also, I know that looks like super overexposed. It's not, I just drew very light back then, very pastel-y, and didn't trust myself yet enough to go like ham with colors and color theory. To be fair, color theory is still super hard for me. Oh look, it's another sticker. Yeah, every time I like have a sticker that I really like, I put them in my sketchbooks because I don't want to use them somewhere else in case they get lost, and I know that I like take care of my sketchbooks because, you know, they take so much time, so I'm not just going willy-nilly about them. Also, I think that's the first sketchbook where I like started live drawing, like that is, for example, my classmates. I think in chemistry, because the class layout. But yeah, I started using more references and actual people in my life because I wanted to become better at portraits, and I think I succeeded in the end, like looking back. It took quite a while, obviously, but yeah. Okay. I have seen so many people put post-it notes in their sketchbooks back then, and it looks so cool, but I have never had a use for it, so I just put it in there and drew the same thing again because I liked it composition-wise so much. I don't know. I can't remember painting his memorial in my sketchbook. I could have sworn that would have been on like a separate paper, but okay, I guess. This is like one of those pages that I have no real recollection for. There are only a few of them, but they do exist. And another unfinished sketch. Oh my god, girl, what was you doing? By the way, spoiler alert, that like concept of two heads being twisted together is going to come up a lot till I finally land on something that I really like, and I think that's in the 4th book, so still in this video. But it took a lot of tries to get like something that I was thinking in my head but like couldn't really visualize it. You will see. And what you're currently seeing is me trying to like get good at that one brush tip pencil. I'm going to probably link it in the description. It's really good. It is slightly on the expensive side, being Faber-Castell and all, but I went through so many of those. I think I bought like 40 since I started using them, which is, I mean, that's a lot of like any material, but it was just, once it clicked, I love that thing so much that it was basically always with me at all times. And I went through like one per month, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it adds up fast. But considering that you could draw tiny cats with it, definitely money well spent. Also behold, another illustration of my mom, who nobody could have seen that one coming. And that was also my old bedroom back then, which I liked a lot and I kinda miss, not gonna lie. My interior design definitely peaked between the ages of 15 and 18. Single-handedly carried by fairy lights, obviously. I mean, can you even call something a home if you don't have fairy lights in it? I would wager no, but that's besides the point. Because we are on to number 3. It's crazy how like fast you can flip through all those books, especially since they take so long to create. By the way, the brown ones are von Hahnemühle. I know that one for a fact because I looked it up. I am pretty sure that the colorful sketchbooks are also from them, but I would not bet on it because I didn't find them on their website. Maybe they're just discontinued. I mean, 6 years, I don't know. But yeah, they hold watercolor pretty well, and I start to finally use like actually colors and glue. Absolutely no recollection what was between those two pages. I guess they're lost to time. But yeah, I start finally using color. How exciting! Do I use it well? Debatable. I think I did a pretty good job, like, with photo studies. But when it came to, like, drawing from imagination or from, like, remembering something, I was still very unsure where I would need to put shadow or light and how, like, soft light works. Which, I mean, I have to start somewhere. So, yeah, that was one of the first one where I, like, was really proud of the composition. Looking back, that arm, oh boy. Same thing with the head size. They just have very thick, juicy brains. A lot of information stored in there. Yes. Oh, okay, so where to start? Okay, so I drew a lot of fan art back then. Mainly because of, like, that one music group who also reposted me on multiple occasions, which, like, really got a lot of engagement for me, which was very nice. But yeah, I don't actively follow most of them anymore, except for the green-haired one. His name is Tuttle. He still does music, and then now 2 personas. One where is he very vulnerable, that would be Baby Brain, and one where he's just here to flex, which would be Beast Boy. But don't be fooled by that description, it's still very wholesome. And another picture of my mom, speaking of wholesome. I think that's the 3rd one now. Ooh, another instance of me life drawing. I remember being in choir and very bored. She was not a classmate of me, but we went to the same school and in the same choir there, so yeah. I really like that underwater illustration. It looks so cute, especially with the tiny eel that kind of makes a heart shape. I should have made a heart shape out of it. Oh no, looking back. What a missed opportunity. Oh well. Oh, okay. That was the first time where I got to use, like, actually good watercolor in my school, because they had a good watercolor set in my art class. And I used it to draw tiny cats. Did I watch Kiki Delivery Service like a week before that? Maybe. But yeah. That was the first time getting, like, to use actually good watercolors, and it felt so nice. And now I have them for myself at home. Yeah. But yeah, the other thing is, I mean, it fits color-wise, so same with that one. 2 random things, but they fit. The color theme is there. I'm starting to understand color theory. Hip hip. Oh, I remember hating the spread back then. I don't remember why anymore, because honestly, it's kinda okay. Maybe I needed background. That could be it. Okay. If your critique on that comic is, hey, I cannot read the text, you would be right. Also, that was how I looked back then. Short hair, and it was purple and black instead of green and black. Such riveting differences. Oh no. Like, the sketchbook can take a lot of watercolor, considerably so, but if you overdo it, yeah, it's going to fall apart, and I might have done that there. Illustration on the right is, by the way, a classmate again. It looks like him, it also doesn't look like him, and it also looks like Uncanny Valley. So let's continue to a very dead looking plant. It's not getting better, oh boy. It really doesn't look that much like him looking back. Whoops. Ooh, that is another one of those spreads where I remember me hating it back then. And I, once again, don't really get why. Maybe I just didn't like when I drew on 2 pages. I don't know. Ooh, good watercolor again. And how did I use it again? For tiny cats, of course. Listen, priorities are set. Tiny cats are very important. So I made them a cat spa for also cat girls. Why? Absolutely no idea, but it looks cute, so past me must have been onto something there. Also, more classmates. One with, I think that was during lunch, and also just like I took only the lunch break. It was kind of impressive looking back, like 55 minutes for a whole page. Ooh, okay. So, on the right, that would be me back then. Does it look like me? the self-portrait. No, not really. I mean, you would have recognized me, obviously, because the hair is kind of dead giveaway, but yeah, it doesn't really look like me. Maybe the eyebrows, but otherwise just missed the mark. But you would have recognized me. But I might have just also have very recognizable hair, thinking about it. And I think I was inspired by like the Tumblr post where they put flowers in their Doc Martens. Anyone else remember that trend? Yeah, that was like the inspiration behind the last one there. But yeah, that was the third one. Cute. Egal.
You got the gold shot you wanted?
Yeah. Okay, like, let's get actually back to it, even though baby breaks are very great. With the last sketchbook, at least for this video, because it's getting long, and also the most abused one. It's falling apart at the seams, mainly because it doesn't have any seams anymore. Coincidentally though, it is also the sketchbook where I like made more stuff out of my sketches, which like is the ultimate goal. I mean, it obviously depends, but like, I wanted to learn how to do stickers with that book. I didn't end up learning how to do stickers, but I ended up learning how to do patches, like the sew-on patches, so I would categorize that as a win. A different one that was planned, but yeah. The tiny fish bows there, for example, were planned to become stickers, but I didn't find the method where you draw something and then you go over it with tape really satisfying. It kind of looked shoddy, so I didn't do that in the end. Okay, so here we are. You might not be able to see it on the account of half of it missing, but that is the final form of those two faces looking at each other idea that I had in my first sketchbook. And I had there finally the concept down where I was like, yes, that's how I want it, and redrew it again and redrew it again. And then I tattooed it on myself. It turned out okay. It was the second tattoo that I ever did, so it's nothing to write home about, but it has a lot of meaning for me, so I am very happy about it. Because someone is going to ask, the meaning is how comparison makes you blind. That is why the eye in the middle is blind. And yes, you heard that right. I plan for a tattoo motif over multiple years. Dedication and sheer fucking will. But yeah, I filled the rest of the sketchbook because I was out of ideas and I wanted to have it done with Inktober sketches or illustrations from the one and only Inktober that I completely finished. Somehow. I survived. I know, a wonder to us all. I don't remember which year it was, but I basically went not completely just ink, and some of them are more like only outlines, but then I put like more effort into the backgrounds. And yes, that's where it started with me making backgrounds that are very, very elaborate. Do I regret it? No, absolutely not, because it's an excellent way to like create a universe without needing to tell someone directly the specifics, because they just speak for themselves. Also, that was one of the few OCs I've ever did, and she was just for Inktober, and she's a tiny witch working at a candy store to support herself through college. I don't know, looking back, I'm really happy about that. I didn't realize that I like redrew her the whole time, so it's kind of an accidental OC. She just willed herself into existence, I guess. And now to close us out, the most fucked up dragon you have ever seen. Whoops, did we end on a high note? No, not really, but they can't always be bangers, so happens. Yeah. Also, the hand in the beginning is the first prompt of that Inktober. It was poison, I think, if I remember right. But yeah, those were the 4 first, like, sketchbooks I ever did. Kinda crazy looking back. Especially that you are, like, able to see the progress that I made with, like, when it came to anatomy and all that stuff. And also just creativity in general, which is something that you not just come up with. You kind of learn it a bit. But yeah, I am really proud that I did those back then. Little me was onto something. I'm very proud of her for, like, drawing all the time. Speaking of time, those 4 already took long enough, so the next 4 are going to be the separate video. Mainly because I want to also post another video before Christmas, and I'm currently working on something that I want to post, but it is also a present for someone, so can't really post it. No, can we? But yeah, I hope this was kind of fun to look at and maybe interesting, and I hope you have a great day and see you next time. Bye!